Johnny, good to have you here, Joe says, leaning back as if giving space. But it's a trap. You look calm. Is that real, or just a mask? Depp laughs. Short, dry. The sound cracks like a twig. None of them knew that this ordinary interview would end up being the most scandalous show of 2025. Before we begin, please subscribe and let us know when you watch this video. Now let's move on to the video. Joe, I'm always calm. A pause. He twists the glass in his hand. Until I'm not. The camera catches his eyes, dark, shadowed with fatigue. The audience in their earbuds hears him swallow. The studio feels too quiet. The microphone picks up every rustle, Depp adjusting his cuff, Joe clicking his pen. This was supposed to be a standard podcast. Two guys, coffee, a chat about movies, maybe some Pirates of the Caribbean nostalgia. But the air is heavy. Something lingers between them, like smoke before an explosion. You know what people say? Joe leans forward, elbows on the desk. His smile is warm, but his eyes are cold. They say you're making a comeback. A big one. After, well, you know. Depp nods. Slowly. His fingers tighten around the glass. People say a lot, Joe. Always have. He takes a sip of water. Slow, deliberate, buying time. Question is, who's listening? Joe laughs loud, with forced ease. But the camera catches his jaw tense slightly. He knows where this is going. And Depp knows he knows. Well, the whole world's listening, man. Joe spreads his arms, embracing an invisible audience. And they want to know, how'd you get through it? The trial, the headlines, the whole circus? The word circus lands like a stone in still water. Depp doesn't move. His smile freezes, but his eyes narrow. The camera zooms in and subtly, just enough to catch him blink. Once. Twice. Circus, he repeats softly, tasting the word. Interesting choice. He sets the glass down. The motion is sharp, water sloshing. You know, Joe, a circus is when everyone's playing a part. Clowns, acrobats, lion tamers. Me? I was just trying to be me. Joe nods, but his gaze is a crosshair. He feels the thread tightening. Being you, Joe echoes, savoring the phrase. That's tough when the world's watching. And when there are accusations. Serious ones. Silence. The camera's hum grows louder. Or maybe it just seems that way. Depp stares straight at Joe. His fingers drum the armrest softly, but the rhythm betrays tension. Accusations, he says, voice like a blade scraping glass. You know what's funny? People believe what they want to believe. Not the truth. Stories. Joe doesn't look away. He knows this is the moment. The one cameras live for. But he doesn't push. Not yet. What's your story, Johnny? His voice is soft, almost empathetic. But it's a game. You're not just the Pirates guy. You're the man dragged through courts, through papers. What's your side? Depp tilts his head back, as if to laugh, but no sound comes. Just a sharp exhale. The camera catches his lips tremble for a fraction of a second. My side? He leans forward now, the desk and microphone the only barrier between them. My side is waking up to your phone blowing up with notifications. Your home isn't yours anymore. Your name's a headline someone wrote in 5 minutes. And you're standing in the middle of it, trying to just breathe. Joe stays silent. His eyebrows lift slightly, a signal he's listening, but not backing off. That sounds like hell, he says, and there's a flicker of sincerity in his tone. But then he adds, but people want to know, Johnny. You're not an angel, right? You made mistakes too. Depp freezes. His fingers stop drumming. The camera catches him blink slowly, like he's drawing a curtain. Mistakes, he repeats. The word lands like a gunshot in the silence. You know, Joe, mistakes are when you spill coffee or forget a line. What I went through, that wasn't mistakes. That was war. Joe falters for a split second. His smile fades, but he recovers it fast. The camera catches him adjust his mic, a gesture to buy a moment. War, Joe repeats, voice cautious now. Strong word. Who's the enemy in this war? Depp locks eyes with him. Not the camera, not the audience, Joe. His eyes are dark, stormy. The pause stretches, a second feeling like forever. Enemy? He leans back, but his posture is no longer relaxed. Joe, the enemy is when your life's torn apart for clicks. When truth just becomes noise. Silence. The studio holds its breath. Even the tech behind the camera stops breathing. Joe opens his mouth, but Depp cuts him off. You ever been the enemy, Joe? His voice is quiet, but every word lands like a blow. When the whole world knows your story, but not your truth? Joe blinks. He didn't expect that. The camera catches his surprise just for a moment, but it's enough. He recovers, leaning forward. Nah, man. I haven't. His voice is soft, but there's steel in it. But I know what it looks like from the outside. And people want to know where the truth is. You ready to give it? Depp laughs, short, bitter. The sound cuts the air like glass. Truth? He looks straight into the camera, and for a second, it feels like he's speaking to everyone watching. Truth is what nobody cares about. They want a story. And you know that, Joe. Silence slices through. The glass of water trembles from Depp's light tap on the table. The camera zooms in on his face, tired, but sharp as a blade. Joe stays quiet, but his eyes burn. He knows this is it. The moment the show stops being a show. Maybe you're right, Joe says softly, but his voice rings like a bell before a storm. But let's try. Tell your truth. Depp stares at him. Long. His fingers grip the armrest, knuckles whitening. The camera catches every micro movement, his blink, the faint tremble of his lips. The studio freezes. Even the lights feel colder. Truth, Depp pauses. His voice cracks, like ice breaking. Truth is, Joe, I don't know if there's any truth left in me. Silence cuts. The camera doesn't move. Joe doesn't breathe. The audience beyond the screen doesn't either. This isn't a show anymore. It's a duel. And it's just begun. Joe recovers first. He leans forward, voice low, deliberate. That's heavy, Johnny. He pauses, letting the words hang. But people are gonna hear that and think, what? You're giving up? Or you're hiding something? Depp's jaw tightens. The camera catches it, a micro twitch, but enough to betray the crack in his armor. He shifts in his chair, the leather creaking. His fingers, still wrapped around the armrest, loosen, then tighten again. Hiding? Depp's voice is quiet, but it carries a razor's edge. Joe, I've been stripped bare for years. My bank accounts, my texts, my scars, everything's been on display. You think I'm hiding? Joe doesn't flinch. His eyes narrow, but his tone stays even, almost coaxing. I'm not saying that. I'm saying people want to know who you are now. After the circus. After the war. Who's Johnny Depp without the headlines? Depp laughs, a low, guttural sound, more snarl than amusement. The camera zooms in, catching the glint of his teeth, the shadow of exhaustion under his eyes. Who am I? He leans forward, elbows on the table, close enough that the mic picks up his breath. I'm the guy who's still standing. Barely. But standing. Joe nods, slow, deliberate. He's circling now, a predator sensing blood. Standing, sure. But at what cost? You've lost roles, friends, maybe more. Was it worth it? Fighting that fight? The question lands like a punch. Depp's eyes flicker, just for a second, and the studio feels colder. The camera lingers on his hands, one clenched, the other tracing the rim of his glass. He doesn't answer right away. The pause stretches, unbearable. The tech behind the camera shifts, uncomfortable. Even the lights seem to flicker. Worth it? Depp finally says, voice barely above a whisper. You don't get to choose, Joe. You don't get to decide if it's worth it when your life's being torn apart. You just survive. Joe leans back, exhaling through his nose. He's not done. Not yet. Survive, yeah. But surviving's not the same as winning. You said it was a war. Who won, Johnny? Depp's head snaps up. The air crackles. His eyes burn, not with anger, but with something deeper, something raw. Won. His voice rises, just enough to make the mic clip. Nobody wins, Joe. Nobody. You think I wanted to air my life in a courtroom? You think I wanted my kids to see their dad's name dragged through the mud? You think I chose that? Joe holds his gaze, unflinching. The camera catches his fingers tapping the desk once, twice. He's weighing his next move. I hear you, he says, voice softer now, but it's a feint. But you fought back. Hard. Some say too hard. Some say you went after her to destroy her. The word her drops like a grenade. The studio goes dead silent. Depp's face doesn't change, but his eyes, those eyes, betray him. They darken, like a storm cloud rolling in. The camera zooms in, catching the vein pulsing at his temple. He opens his mouth, then closes it. A breath. Then another. Don't, he says, voice low, dangerous. Don't go there, Joe. Joe doesn't back down. He leans forward, elbows on the desk, voice steady but sharp. I'm not going anywhere, Johnny. I'm asking what everyone's thinking. Was it about truth? Or was it about revenge? Depp's chair scrapes back. The sound is jarring, amplified by the mic. He doesn't stand, but his body is coiled, ready to spring. The camera pans to his hands, one gripping the armrest, the other balled into a fist. The glass of water sits forgotten, trembling slightly on the table. Revenge? Depp's voice is a hiss now, each word deliberate, cutting. You think I spent years in court, lost millions, lost sleep, for revenge? You think I wanted to stand there while the world picked apart my life like vultures? That's not revenge, Joe. That's survival. Joe doesn't move. His eyes are locked on Depp, unyielding. Survival, he repeats, voice flat. But you didn't just survive. You hit back. And some people, millions, maybe think you hit too hard. They're saying you ruined her life to save yours. The studio is a vacuum. No sound, no movement. The camera doesn't blink, catching every micro-expression, Depp's clenched jaw, Joe's steady gaze. Then, Depp laughs. It's not a laugh of joy. It's jagged, raw, like broken glass. Ruined her life? He leans forward, voice shaking with something that could be anger or pain or both. Joe, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what it's like to have your words twisted, your life turned into a script for someone else's story. You don't know what it's like to lose everything and still have to smile for the cameras. Joe opens his mouth, but Depp cuts him off, his voice rising now, cracking the air. You want truth? Here's truth, I didn't ruin her. She didn't ruin me. We were both ruined by a world that loves blood more than justice. The studio is silent. The camera lingers on Depp's face, eyes blazing, chest heaving. Joe sits back, stunned, his usual swagger gone. For the first time, he looks like he's lost the thread. The tech behind the camera shifts, unsure whether to keep rolling. The lights feel like they're dimming, though they haven't moved. Joe clears his throat. Johnny, I. Depp raises a hand, cutting him off. Don't. His voice is quieter now, but it carries the weight of a sledgehammer. Just don't. He stands. The chair scrapes again, louder this time. The camera follows him as he grabs his jacket, slings it over his shoulder, and walks toward the studio door. The mic picks up his footsteps, steady but heavy, like a man leaving a battlefield. The door clicks shut behind him. Silence. Joe stares at the empty chair. The camera pans to the glass of water, still trembling on the table. The tech behind the camera exhales, a sound caught faintly by the mic. Joe runs a hand over his face, mutters something inaudible, and leans back. The lights don't move, but the studio feels darker. The clip goes viral before the podcast even ends. X lights up with fragments of the exchange, screenshots of Depp's clenched fist, Joe's stunned face, the trembling glass. Johnny Depp walks out on Joe Rogan, trends within minutes. Posts flood in, he didn't have to go that hard. Joe pushed too far. This is the realest moment I've seen in years. A shaky phone recording of Depp's final words, "A world that loves blood more than justice," loops on TikTok, racking up millions of views. The headlines come next. Depp's explosive exit from Rogan podcast shocks fans. Johnny Depp breaks silence on trial in raw interview. The video vanishes from the official channel hours later, but the snippets live on, shared and reshared, dissected in comment threads and reaction videos. Joe stays silent. No tweet, no statement. Just a single post on X the next day, a photo of the empty chair, captioned, "Sometimes truth is louder than words." In the quiet of his hotel room, Johnny Depp sits alone, staring at his phone. The screen glows with notifications, but he doesn't open them. He pours a drink, sets it down untouched, and looks out the window. The city hums below, oblivious. The camera isn't here, but the weight of its gaze lingers. He exhales, a sound like a storm passing. And then, in the silence, he mutters one last line, barely audible, as if to himself, "They got their story."